Good morning, DJ and PK here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. First hour of the program is going to be hosted by me, Jake Hatch, executive producer of this fine program. And we're going to kick things off on this Black Friday with a recap of Wednesday night. Utah Mammoth having an incredible second period, but outside of that, the Montreal Canadiens really owning the action as they won the game at the Delta Center. Here's Adrian Denny with his recap of the loss for the Utah Mammoth.
DJ and PK, the Utah Mammoth went into Thanksgiving losing 4-3 in regulation to the Montreal Canadiens on Wednesday night. Mammoth now 12-9-3. They'll open a 6-game road trip tonight in Dallas. So they were going for 3 straight wins. They led going to the third period. Canadiens scored a couple of quick goals in a span of 1 minute and 27 seconds to take the 4-3 win. The big news of note, though, for Utah, they have cleared Thanksgiving in a playoff spot in the Western Conference. And going back to 2005-2006 in the NHL salary cap era, 77% of NHL teams in a playoff position at Thanksgiving have gone on to make the playoffs. So they're in a playoff spot right now, big 6-game road trip coming up. And as you look back at last year, 12 of the 16 teams that were in a playoff spot at Thanksgiving made the playoffs. So 75% then. So an item of note there, as the Mammoth wanted a victory going into the holiday, did not get it. They trailed 2-0 after 20 minutes, but they'd won 2 straight, feeling pretty good. It didn't feel like a 2-0 game. They came out in the second period. Karel Vejmelka stopped a 2-on-1 rush. Mammoth drew a penalty, and Barrett Hayton got the team on the board, and the comeback was on.
Battle ensues. Sergachev comes away with it. Keller, Hayton, right in, scores! The power play wakes up here at home. Barrett Hayton finds the back of the net, and it's 2-1.
2 minutes and 15 seconds later, Kyler Yamamoto, 5-on-5, would tie it.
This is Gunther moving in. Yamamoto scores! Gunther to Yamamoto, and we're tied at 2. The Mammoth go back-to-back.
And 1 minute and 56 seconds after that, Michael Carcone would give the Mammoth 3 goals in 4 minutes and 9 seconds, and Utah had a 3-2 lead.
Back of goal, changes his direction, wraparound try, and it's in! They score! Michael Carcone muscles it in, and Utah is in front.
A big save from Karel Vejmelka to end the period sent us to the third with Utah leading. They took a penalty. Montreal looked like they scored on the power play. Utah challenged it. Play was deemed offside. No goal. Canadiens stay on the power play. Nate Schmidt in the neutral zone trying to get the puck all the way down. Gets held up. No call. Montreal scores. They scored again 1 minute and 27 seconds later. 4-3 is the final, despite the fact that Utah in that third period outshot the Canadiens by a 15-5 count and 28-10 over the final 40 minutes, which they outscored the Canadiens 3-2. But the 2 goals in the first period, the difference in the game, power play, the difference in the game. Canadiens go 2 for 3. Utah went 1 for 4. Pretty good percentage, 25%. You'll take that every night, but you give up 2. That is tough to swallow. Let's hear from head coach Andre Tourigny. Heard from him after the game on Wednesday night.
I think we played a good game, but unfortunately we got beat in our strength. Our PK's been our strength since the start of the season. Tonight we were not as sharp on our PK. Power play score, big goal that was important for us. It's a good team defensively, and we generate volume of shot, quality, inside game. We had a lot of traffic there. I think they scored 2 goals of their rush. That's unfortunate.
Sean Durfee gets to play his first game since the start of October, middle of October. What did you see out of his game, especially using him in key moments like the penalty kill and late in the game?
Yeah, he played good. he made a good play with the puck. He was focused. He was urgent. He did a good job. The toughest game when you come back is always the second one. The first year, all of energy and everything. So he passed the test, no doubt about it. We were happy to have him, and he did a really good job, no doubt.
You touched on the PK. Their first 5-on-4 goals allowed since exactly a month ago.
Yep.
Do you think it was more of the other team being better at this tonight, or
No.
your team not being good enough?
No, they're a good team, no doubt about it. They made good plays, and credit to them, but we were not as sharp than we normally are. It will happen. If it's once a month, we'll live with that.
The other big story for Utah in the contest on Wednesday night was Sean Durzi coming back into the lineup after missing 21 straight games. He got hurt second game of the year. Last year got hurt fourth game of the year. Missed over half the season. So big to get him back, and he played a big impact in the game for the Mammoth, and by the third period he was on the top defensive pairing with Mikhail Sergachev. Utah last summer, before their inaugural season, traded for Sergachev. The next day, signed Sean Durzi to a 4-year contract. Let's hear from him after the game on Wednesday.
This is the first game back. How'd you feel out there, and what you wanted to contribute to this team?
Yeah, obviously come back. Watching the guys all year, you kind of see how they go through their ups and downs. Try to be in all the meetings you can be, but when I'm rehabbing, they're on the road and can't see it all. So come back, you try to stay the guys' ways. In warm-ups, things like that. Routines change so much throughout the year. Just wanted to contribute. Whether it's on the ice, off the ice, bring some energy, do something.
This game had a lot of momentum swings. Obviously, you guys were happy with that second period and the way things went, but the adversity, I guess you handled it third. What can you assess and how that happened?
Yeah, I don't think we lost focus. I think, as a group, are mature enough to kind of control what we have to control. I thought we did a lot of good things. It's an emotional game. We all care so much that sometimes it's tough, but I think, again, the maturity in here never wavered, and confidence never wavered, and I thought we did a good job of kind of keeping our focus and moving on to the next.
And Barrett Hayton scored that first goal for Utah, and when Barrett Hayton is involved in a goal, he always seems to do something before the goal. Laid down a big hit as Montreal was trying to clear the puck with Utah on the power play, but forced the puck free to Sergachev, who got it to Clayton Keller, who got it to Barrett Hayton for the nice look on the 5-on-4 power play goal. And the Mammoth were off and running. Hayton's back on that top power play unit, and he's back playing with Nick Schmaltz and Clayton Keller. Heard from him after the game as well.
Just in terms of the flow and of momentum, how this team managed it, how do you assess the way that game went?
Yeah, like I said, after the second there, I thought we did a really good job in that second period. Just managing the game better. Obviously, that was something we reviewed, something we had to be better at. And, obviously, we did a really good job there in the second period. Overall game-wise, I need a second to kind of reflect on exactly what it is. Obviously, it's frustrating right now not coming out with 2 points.
What do you want to take out of this win, though, from this group moving forward from first glance?
Probably go back to the second period, the way we managed it. I think that's something that we went through a stretch of a bunch of games that we didn't manage it well, and I think you saw that. You saw that in a lot of the outcomes in the game, or even the games, the last two, that we found a way. We dug ourselves a bit of a hole in the second period, so I think we did a good job with that tonight, but wasn't good enough.
First 5-on-4 goal in precisely a month. What's kind of been the struggles of the power play, and what was it like to finally get one?
Something, obviously, us as a group, we weren't happy with our production there. I thought we'd had a couple games where we talked and kind of got back to our foundation, what made us good in the past. Just having that attack mindset, winning battles that compete, and obviously letting our skill take over from there. So, yeah.
So we'll start the road trip coming up tonight with a back-to-back. Dallas tonight, St. Louis tomorrow, 6 p.m. face-offs for both of those games, 5 p.m. hockey night in Utah, right here on the KSL Sports Zone. Trip will continue Monday in San Jose. That'll be an 8 o'clock start. Wednesday in Anaheim, another 8 o'clock start. A week from tonight in Vancouver, a week from tomorrow in Calgary, and then back home a week from Wednesday with the LA Kings. Longest road trip of the year starting tonight for the Mammoth. We'll be back on Monday with an all-new edition of Mammoth Daily, your daily podcast where we give you 30 minutes every day from your radio broadcast team with Mike Folta and myself. We are off through the weekend, but back on Monday. Apple, Spotify, the Utah Mammoth YouTube page, along with SEG+. So make sure to join us. Our Monday morning power play will lead us off after the weekend. So hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Enjoy the rest of the day. Go Utes at Kansas coming up, and we'll talk to you on Monday morning to recap our Saturday night game in St. Louis.
Thank you, as always, to Adrian for his recap. Coming up next, we're going to talk with a guy who knows a whole lot of football, and that'd be Riley Jensen. His thoughts on the Utes, the Cougars, the Aggies, looking at the final regular season weekend of the college football season. That's next, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Good morning, DJ and PK here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. I'm Jake Hatch, executive producer of the program. All right, time now to hear from Riley Jensen, one of our great guests that comes on all college football season long, talks all things Utes, Cougars, Aggies, and quite literally anything else. He's also a mental performance coach, and we'll also get into some of those topics as well. He joined DJ and PK on Wednesday to talk all about all of the aforementioned topics. So here you go, Riley Jensen with DJ and PK.
Riley, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Little Tina Turner to bounce back this morning. I like what Jake's trying to do here.
She was born. She was born on this day in 1939. So
I love it.
There you go.
I love it. There you go.
Riley, I'm thinking all your work, mental performance, the psychological part of sports. I think that you watched football last Saturday and you watched the BYU game, the Utah game, and the Utah State game, and you thought, those are three very healthy teams, or they couldn't have done what they did.
Yeah, I think, the Utah State game was really surprising to me. I thought the win was actually going to come this week against Boise State. I thought they were going to make it in the bowl game, to the bowl game, just because that's pretty much what Bronco does. He comes in and he turns the direction around for a team. But, man, Bryson Barnes is just an amazing football player. I think he's an amazing leader for this team. I think they've really embraced, instead of I think for a long time Utah State's kind of pushed away or pushed back on the agricultural thing. And I kind of like the way this team is just embracing it. And they're like, yeah, that's what we are. We're blue collar. We're a blue collar football team. We win games. We win them in difficult ways and in different ways, and we just roll up our sleeves and go to work. That was fun. Giving up 500 yards rushing for the University of Utah is not exactly the way that you like to exhibit or show everybody that you're mentally tough, but they were opportunistic at the end of the game. And then, God, you just have – you can't – the BYU team, they are very mentally tough, and they've done it in a variety of ways this year. And man, if you want to stop BYU, you've got to stop that running game. And they just week in and week out, they make the plays that they need to make to win. So yes, mentally tough in all three phases, or with all three teams, for different reasons and in different ways, no question.
You just mentioned all three teams and did a little rundown. And what's interesting to me is put Ficklin in the mix too. So you got four quarterbacks in those three teams, right? And you look at Bryson Barnes, not recruited, walk on. Ficklin, not recruited that highly. Dampier, not recruited that highly, has to go to New Mexico. Bachmeier, recruited highly, right? So out of one of the four, only one of them was recruited highly and had the stars and all that stuff. The other three have had to make their mark. And it just amazes me, the evaluations at the quarterback position, because it seems like nobody can ever get it consistently right. A great quarterback with the stars, bombs, and I've got three guys. Ficklin, he still has a lot more to prove, but I think Dampier has proven what he can do at two different levels now. And to an extent, Barnes has proven what he can do. If they knew Rising was never going to be healthy, they probably would have kept him, and he would have wanted to stay at Utah. So he would have been doing it at the Pac-12 and now Big 12 level. How do we get a system to where it could ever be where quarterbacks are judged on their talent a little more consistently?
Well, I think so. I have a little bit of a theory on this, and that is, it's really, really hard. It's really hard for everyone in football in every position, but especially quarterback. It's hard to measure motivation, and it's hard to measure the heart. And I know this is a little bit cliche, but just bear with me for a second. If I were to line up a whole bunch of college golfers, and you were looking at all the college golfers, and they were all swinging and like warming up for a tournament, it would be really, really hard to tell which one was the best player, because they all have great swings. They all can drive the ball. They all can hit the ball well. But the one that wins the tournament has this heart and this preparation and this mental toughness that's hard to measure, right? And I think that's what's happening with quarterbacks. I mean, the theory that I have with quarterbacks is if quarterbacks get too much love too early, they become less motivated. Think about all the guys that have won Heisman trophies and have gone on in the NFL and maybe not played as well as you thought they were going to be. The quarterbacks that have played well in the NFL, and there's a couple of exceptions to this, John Elway and really Peyton Manning are the exception to this rule. But do you think that growing up in Texas that Drew Brees wanted to play for Purdue? No, he wanted to play for one of the Texas schools. Do you think Philip Rivers growing up in Alabama wanted to play for NC State? No. Do you think – I mean, I can go through – scenario after scenario after scenario where these great NFL quarterbacks were in some way slighted and overlooked. It doesn't mean that they were like completely slighted, like they didn't play Division I football, but they didn't get to play for their hometown school. They didn't get to play for the school that they dreamt of playing for. And so I think a lot of times these quarterbacks have this undeniable will or this undeniable want to show that they're the best quarterback, number one, on the field that day, and number two, the best quarterback in their conference, and then number three, best quarterback in the country, and then eventually that transfers over to like really, really long careers in the NFL. And so I almost think that these quarterbacks that get overlooked a little bit or slighted, I mean, even Tom Brady was constantly like creating these scenarios where he felt slighted or where he felt angry about things. And I think that's what these quarterbacks do, and I think that's why they're really, really good, is because they still have something to prove.
So you don't think Aaron Rodgers wanted to go to a junior college?
No, I don't.
Okay. I'm just trying to catch on here to your point. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can go down list after list after list of quarterbacks. I mean, Tom Brady, I think everybody said he wanted to play for USC or something like that, right? Like, there's just you can go down the list of quarterbacks, and I mean, look at Baker Mayfield. I mean, he was one of the best quarterbacks in the state of Texas. Walks on to Texas Tech, wins the spot, and then the next year they're like, "Yeah, you're going to have to compete for the spot." He's like, "Well, forget that. I'm going to Oklahoma." And then he's been, even in the NFL, he's been kind of left for dead a couple of times. And now you look at him and you're like, geez, dude, this guy is really good. I mean, you could take a local example. Jackson Dart signed with USC, and for all intents and purposes, that was like the dream school where he wanted to play. A new coach comes in with his quarterback. It's not really going to be a fair competition. Even if he won the competition, he would have had a short rope. He goes to Ole Miss, which is not necessarily probably his first choice or even like on his radar coming out of high school. And now he's competing on the NFL level, right? I mean,
And Joe Burrow says that story sounds familiar to me.
Right?
Ohio guy wanted to go to Ohio State, didn't win the job, transferred to LSU, went 15-0.
And is now a big-time quarterback in the NFL. So these stories where they stay a little bit hungry is kind of good for them. I can go through other positions too. I've gone through on the quarterback position over and over and over again just because that's near and dear to my heart. But there's other positions too where this happens all the time. Too many awards too early seems to make people a little bit too happy and a little bit too content.
That's why, Riley R. Jensen, I have never wanted or earned or won an award because it's kept me hungry all these years. Each morning I wake up angry, my good friend.
Well, I would say that you could play for BYU because they're humble and hungry, but the humble part, I don't know. I can see that you're hungry.
Humble? I would have to go an extra 20 miles just to have any form of humility because I've been stripped of most of my dignity all these years. That's the way you have to approach it. You just did it right there again.
It's hard work to be Patrick Kinahan. What I like what you're doing is you're continually motivating yourself. You're like the Tom Brady of sports radio in Utah. That's what you are. Constantly creating scenarios where you're angry.
He's got to do that because he got to settle here in beautiful Salt Lake. It's not like he's Josh Allen. He had to go to Laramie, Wyoming, right?
I started in Casa Grande, Arizona, David James Sniggledorf III. Have you ever been to Casa Grande, Arizona? Ask some of your soccer boys. They've been there.
They have been
That's
there.
the bottom of the barrel. They have no dentists in the town. You know why? Well, figure it out.
I can tell you.
Summer teeth? Some are here, some are there.
Oh, nice. Wow, I hadn't heard that one before. When they built that new academy in Harriman, they're all out there for that. They took some players out there for the groundbreaking, and I saw Justin Glad, who went through the academy when it was in Casa Grande. They said, "Is every player from this point forward going to be soft?" And he just laughed maniacally. Absolutely. If you don't know Casa Grande, you don't know toughness.
Yeah, and I know Casa Grande. I've been to Casa Grande. Casa Grande is a friend of mine.
Yeah, well, you and Justin can bond over that because that was he wore that as a badge of honor, no doubt about it.
Absolutely. So let me throw this at you, Riley R. Jensen. If that same form of motivation that you're using with that philosophy and that alignment, how much do you think that can carry the Cougars next week when they go down to Arlington, Texas, and play Texas Tech, which embarrassed them on national television on the heels of Fox Big Noon and all that stuff?
Well, so there's two things psychologically that I think bode well for BYU. Whether it's the NFL or any level of football, I mean, you can go all the way down Little League here in the state of Utah. To beat a team twice in one season is really, really difficult to do for a myriad of reasons. I think BYU will be super motivated. I think their running back is much more healthy at this point than he was in the first Texas Tech game. I think that BYU will know what to expect. I'm not sure that translates to a win because I think Texas Tech is just a really, really good football team. I can almost give you the Riley Jensen guarantee that comes with a warranty that this game is going to be a lot closer. And I think BYU has will have all kinds of chances to win this game. I think the last game, the hard part is it got out of control, and so it didn't. In your head, you're not going, man, if we just would have made this play or that play, we could have won that game. I think this next game could be something like that, and so that's the type of a game where BYU has played opportunistic football. When they've had a chance to win, they're pretty good. The only game that they haven't really had a chance to win is this Texas Tech game, and I think they'll be in the game this time. I can't guarantee a win, but I guarantee you it's going to be a lot closer.
I'm watching the game playing that's going on with substitutions the offense substitutes and then the defense. They got to do it early because otherwise the defense takes their time and tries to get a delay of game. And I watch it going back and forth. And I think what the Utes did in the Sugar Bowl where they basically went they didn't sub and they went now it's tempo. It used to be the 2-minute drill. It used to be no huddle, whatever you call it. But they didn't give them time, and the defenses got gassed. Now, there's a risk you go 3 and out, and your defense is gassed because they're right back out there on the field. But we're not seeing much of that tactic. Why have coaches dropped that from their bag? Is it the fact they're afraid of putting the defense back out there very quickly? Because, we've seen it work. We've seen it work in a game we're never going to forget. And now we're seeing all these other game playing happen in multiple games. It's been a problem for multiple teams. And I wonder why somebody doesn't do it.
Well, I think with BYU, one of the reasons why the quarterback position's playing so good is that Aaron Roderick can talk to him until there's 15 seconds on the clock. Mm-hmm. And so that's a little bit of a different scenario going on with Bachmeier. One of the reasons he's so good is because Aaron can talk to him and say, hey, look, we're going to run this play or this play. Look for this check. He's literally like in his head, like talking to him about things. But even when the Utes did it against Alabama, that was a senior quarterback that you had a lot of trust with to be able to run an up-tempo or, this high-speed offense. Now, what I would say that you could do, and what I would say is a nice mix-up, is I like teams right now that will mix it up during a series, or one of the things that I do just with my Little League football team is we'll come out and we'll say, okay, so on second down, we're going full speed, meaning one play per 4 downs. Every time it's second down, we're going what we call NASCAR, which is to speed it up. So then what you're doing is you're not just throwing all fastballs at someone. You're throwing a fastball, then a curveball, then you're throwing a slider, then you're throwing a fastball. And I think that keeps defenses really, really off balance. And so I would look for some version of that, not necessarily just go, 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 like Brian Johnson did in the University of Utah. And that was an amazing game. I was actually at that game and just shaking my head and watching everybody with their Bama bangs shake their head back and forth. And they just could not believe what happened to them. And but I like the idea that you're talking about. I think the whole thing, and the reason why you haven't seen it, sorry, this is a long answer, is because the ability to talk to your quarterback is so tempting for an offensive coordinator right now. And I think Aaron Roderick had to do it with Bachmeier to keep him sharp and to keep him in the game. But I like the idea. I just think it's so tempting right now as an offensive coordinator to just keep talking to your quarterback up till 15 seconds.
Okay, yeah. Especially if he can handle it, though. He has to be able to handle it, right?
Yeah, I think at this point he's no longer a freshman. Now you're talking about a sophomore quarterback, and I think he can handle more and more, and I think you're going to have a minute to prepare for Texas Tech, and that might be something that they do. I don't know that they do the full University of Utah version, but like I said, they could do something where they're just all right, so in the first quarter, every time it's second down, we're going to go NASCAR, right? Or we're going to do it every first down in the second quarter type of thing. And then it keeps people off balance. It doesn't allow them to sub and bring in, 3 new defensive linemen every second. And that's where they're so good is not just the fact that they're good at D-line, but they're deep at defensive line.
Sure.
Riley, we'll leave it right there. Good luck to your Aggies beating Boise State. 9 straight losses. The streak could be snapped. Well, it could happen. Feels like it could definitely happen.
I think it definitely could happen. I think Maddox Madsen, the local quarterback, is out.
Yeah.
And that's that's good news for Utah State. So a local Utah guy contributing to Utah State wins is always a good thing for me.
Big thank you, Riley Jensen, for taking the time to join the program. As always, coming up next, you're going to hear from Barry Trammell, obviously another one of our great guests, works for the Tulsa World, has been covering the Big 12 for literally decades, has just a wealth of knowledge when it comes to the weekend ahead, when it comes to the college football playoff race, what the Big 12 needs to do, how BYU's perceived. We'll get to that next right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Good morning, DJ and PK here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. The BYU Cougars have two big games coming up this weekend. Obviously, a big game yesterday. The BYU men's basketball program beat the Miami Hurricanes down in Orlando, taking on the Hurricanes as part of ESPN Events Invitational at the Wide World of Sports Complex at Walt Disney World. Big win for Kevin Young and company. They got Kennard Davis Jr. back from a 2-game suspension and rolled to a big win. They'll take on the Dayton Flyers tonight. So here's part of what they had to say, speaking of Kevin Young, AJ DeBonsa, as well as Keba Keita after BYU won that game against Miami.
Yeah, no, great question. That's the fun part of coaching, to be able to study the film, see how you think they're going to guard you. I thought, tonight, obviously we started to post up AJ a little bit more, and they were, we were trying to figure out where the double team was coming from, and I thought we had a lot of good offense based on that. So really, for us, it really kind of shows its head in three areas. How they guarding him in the post, how they guarding our pick and rolls, and are they going to kind of guard the three-point line or be more of a paint-centric team? And so tonight, I thought our guys did a good job of recognizing where all the help was coming from.
Kevin, what were the biggest adjustments made in the second half?
Coach Linehan made the comment at halftime. We were in there watching the film at halftime as a staff and talking about adjustments, and it really wasn't a schematic thing. It was, our demeanor wasn't great in the first half. I thought our guys were a little bit glazed over, honestly, and so I thought our demeanor in the second half was the biggest adjustment. It was a toughness game. We knew it was going to be. Coach Lucas has put together a really physical team, and they, we ended up going +6 on the glass in the second half. In the first half, that was where we were hurting, and then obviously what Keba did defensively was, incredible.
Go ahead. Coach, first of all, happy Thanksgiving and congratulations on the win. It seems like wherever you guys come to Florida, whether that be football, basketball, the athletics department in general, it seems like you guys get a really good turnout. How did it feel to get a win with such turnout like this one?
Yeah, it's amazing. I think it's something that's really unique about BYU. We have fans, planted all over the place, and our fans travel, and so to see that much blue, especially on a holiday, it was really cool. And I know for me, I never take it for granted. I know our guys feed off of it, and it just gives us kind of an extra boost. And happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Thank you.
Coach, Miami, they're a team that they're still trying to find that identity. Obviously, year one with Coach Lucas. Going into the game, what were some of the things that you saw in the scout? And then coming out of tonight, what's like your message after seeing them point blank in person and playing against them?
I think they have a clear identity. They're big and they're physical and they want to get downhill. I think they coming into the game, I think they had the second most paint points in college basketball, so I would say that's a pretty strong identity. Thought they played to it tonight. We were trying to make them beat us from the outside. I thought the zone really slowed them down. But in terms of their team, that's where their bread is buttered and being physical on the glass as well. And Coach Lucas is a good coach. Staying in the same hotel, got a chance to talk to him, and he's, first-year head coach, learned on the fly. But they're going to be good. I told him after the game, I think they're going to have a really good season.
There's the BYU basketball program, also the BYU football program looking to finish their season in style on Senior Day tomorrow as they take on the UCF Knights. Offensive coordinator Aaron Roderick addressed the media earlier this week, had a lot of good thoughts on coming off a win last week and ultimately looking to finish off the season 11-1. Here's part of what Aaron Roderick had to say to the media earlier this week.
Would you make LJ's just record-setting performance, just one of the best single individual rushing efforts in quite a while?
Yeah, it's pretty special night. That was not the game plan for him to run the ball 32 times. The game plan was about 20 carries, and but as the game progressed, it just felt like, okay, he's hot, and our O-line is pushing these guys around, our tight ends and our receivers, everybody was into it, and we just kind of shifted gears and said, okay, we're going to pound the ball and break their will, and that's what we decided to do. And but it was mostly just LJ, I think, inspired everybody, like, keep giving me the ball because I'm going to make yards. And so that's what we did.
On that final TD run, was the thought get down and run up the clock, or were you okay just him punching?
Yeah, we didn't tell him to get down. I mean, technically, if you go by the analytics book, you probably should. But we were trying to calculate whether or not we could get in victory or not, and it was off by a few seconds. And as we were calculating that, we're snapping the ball. And we were going to tell the next play, like, hey, first down, get down. But that would have been the next play that would have happened. And so, he scored, and it was just a great effort by him. And I think it was a fitting way to end the game.
Where does he stack up, just the running backs you've been able to coach here? It reminds, that game felt like Tyler Algier as we look at it.
It did. I've been very reluctant to compare anybody to Tyler, but that was a night that I think you could say that was Tyler-esque for sure. Algier was a great player, and LJ's a great player. They're different players, but I think you can say that they're both a couple of the great ones that have played here.
Back to the offensive line real quick. Have you ever seen them play that well to date? I mean, it looked like the defensive line was 2-3 yards back almost every play.
I think our offensive line's been consistent all year. They execute at a high level, but that night, thought the guys played really, really physical, executed well against a unique defense, and I think just the momentum was building as the game went on. Even though it wasn't a flashy game score-wise, but our team could feel a momentum building as we were pushing those guys around, and that was a pretty good feeling. That starts with those guys up front.
And when they do that, how does that affect your play calling?
Well, like I said, that wasn't the plan to run the ball to give LJ 32 carries. It just turned into that type of game. So yeah, I guess you could say they inspired me to just keep giving them the ball.
Do you think your offense is equipped to play well in bad weather?
Yeah, I do. And in fact, that's one thing that we talk about a lot as an offense is that we want to be an offense that can win any type of game. And I keep saying that over and over. And there's been games this year where we've needed to throw for 300 yards to win, and there's been games this year like Arizona and Cincinnati where we just decide to be physical and run the ball. And most games we want to be balanced, just a good mix of either. And I think our style of play works in cold weather, and it works in whatever. We'll be ready to play.
I guess we'll find out tomorrow night about Chase's condition, but do you want to give us a hint?
We're trying to. I don't know if he's going to be ready or not. We're trying to get him ready, but he's definitely. I don't know what they listed him as, what the word was, questionable or doubtful or whatever. But I think there's still a chance, but I'm not. Not my decision.
If he can't go, who do you think some of the guys are going to get those plays?
Parker, LJ, Parker and JoJo are the two main guys that kind of take up the slack there for his reps. And then, Tiger played a little more last game. You saw Reggie in there a little more last game. I'm probably forgetting somebody, but the guys will step up if he can't go.
How important has Carson Ryan been to the run game?
Very. He's a very good blocker, good player, man. He's does everything well. He's a good receiver, good blocker, and huge part of our run game for sure. Kean needs a big part of our run game as well. He's been doing a good job. And our running backs, we were in a lot of two-back sets the other night where Enoch's blocking for LJ or vice versa. So yeah, it's an 11-man deal every play. That everyone on the field is a blocker.
Still a lot left to be played for in the season, but just talk about how Parker's elevated his status. Looks like he's on track to be a future wide receiver one.
Yeah, Parker's a really good player, and I am not surprised at all by the season he's having. That's what I expected him to do, and he's just basically proven me right. I didn't say it out loud to the world, but I've been saying it to him, that you're going to have this kind of year the whole offseason, and he's a really important part of our offense.
It seemed to me that the wide receivers blocked real well.
They did.
Watching tape, is that what you saw?
Yeah, and that's been a hallmark of our group forever since I've been here. Fessy gets those guys to block, and they've been blocking forever, back to the days of Neil Pa'u and Puka and those guys, and Dax Mill and all those guys were good blockers, and these guys still are today. And the other night, a couple of those big runs, our receivers are getting in there, hitting the safeties right when LJ is about to get to the next level, and those are a big part of the game.
So you're a finalist for the Broyles Award for coordinator of the year.
Yeah, I just found out about that 5 minutes ago. Yeah, thanks.
What does that mean to you? Is that something you even are aspire to, or just?
Usually I think it's not something I aspire to. No, and I don't. I think sometimes those awards go to maybe offenses that are more flashy or whatever, and I'm just about winning games. I just win a game any way we got to win it, and I am honored to hear about that, but to me it's more just a recognition that our offense is playing good football. It's a credit to our players and our other coaches who are doing what it takes to win.
Then we've heard Kalani talk a lot about just winning, not worried about style points, and impressing the committee. Would you say that's pretty staff-wide? Is that?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we're not trying to have style points. It's just that that's not the number one thing. The number one thing is to win the game, and we control our own destiny. If we win, then we'll be where we want to be, and that's all we're thinking about.
On that note, how impressive have you been this year with the guys' just ability to stay focused on each and every week? Not that they weren't last year, but you guys have been doing what you need to do every week to be in a position to control your destiny.
Yeah, so far so good. That's the key, is learning lessons from last year. Last year we had I think it was 9 in a row, and then we dropped 2, right? And learning from those mistakes this year, we lost 1, and then we bounced back with 2 strong games, and now it's finished the deal. We have a team that's going to come in here Saturday looking to get bowl eligible. They play really good defense, and so all of our focus is on UCF.
What would that mean for this group to finally clinch that Big 12 title berth you guys been working towards?
Well, yeah, that'd be huge, but like I said, this game is what gets you there. You have to win this game, and we respect this team a lot. They played really well last Saturday, and they have a really good defense.
There's Aaron Roderick coming up next here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We run the sports world. We look around at what's going on across the sports universe. It's what is trending. DJ and PK rejoin the program coming up next right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.